Welcome in guys, Matt from Total Drummer here. Today we're discussing how to learn a song fast on the drums. I get asked this question a lot. It's a really practical skill because as drummers we have to learn songs very quickly if we're working in the studio, which I do a lot of. If we're learning songs for a gig, especially last minute, which I do a lot of, especially depping. I love depping because it kind of puts you on the spot and you have to learn songs really fast, really kind of tests you. So to be able to handle any of that, we need to be efficient, we need to know how to learn songs fast. Even if we don't need to learn them fast though, it's quite nice to learn them fast because you don't have to waste hours and hours and hours. You can just get to the bit where you play and have fun. So let's explore a method of how we're going to do it. Alright, so for this example, I'm going to use a pop song called Treasure by Bruno Mars. It doesn't matter if you like it or hate it really. The point is, this is a typical, very formulaic pop song, which makes it easier to explain. Obviously, the more complex the structure of the song, the harder this is. So we're going to take a simple song for the purpose of this exercise. But if you're going to learn something with a complex structure or really complex drum parts, it gets a lot more difficult. Also, you have to look at the content. So there are certain parts in a song, and you have to take this case by case, but sometimes a song has a very specific drum beat, and if you don't play that exact drum beat, the song just isn't correct. Other songs, it might be a bit looser. It might just be like, you need a funk beat, the snare's on 2 and 4, maybe some of the bass drums are important, but there might be a lot more freedom to move around. Same goes for fills. You know, quite often a fill is, you can kind of make it up, or maybe you have to stick closely to the type of fill, but it doesn't have to be precise. Whereas other fills, like, I don't know, In the Air Tonight, Phil Collins, that intro fill, they're so iconic that everyone in the room's air drumming to it. If you change a single part of that fill, the whole audience is going to be cross because they're waiting for that exact fill. So it really is a case by case thing, all right? So let's start. Now, I'm going to be writing this out on a chart here. Being able to read music and therefore write music is a massive, massive aid here. If you can't read music, I suggest you do. I'll put a link under this video to a sight reading course. If you don't know how to read and you want to read, that's going to teach you how to do it step by step, super easy. But this is definitely a skill. This is one of the reasons why I think being able to read music is an essential skill. Maybe not essential, but really, really important, really useful, okay? So we're going to do it here. We're going to make a chart. And I'm going to start with the title, so it's Treasure, Bruno Mars. Okay, so there's a couple of things I want to get first of all. So the first thing when I hear a song, I want to get the time signature very, very quickly. I'm going to figure out what the time signature is. 9 times out of 10 it's 4/4, so that's pretty easy. I'm then going to figure out the type of groove, okay? But then I'm not going to go into too much detail yet. I'm going to get the type of groove straight away, but then I'm mostly going to be listening out for the structure first of all. This might take you one listen, it might take you several. I'm going to warn you, if you're listening to this song on YouTube, it's got a really unnecessary swear word at the beginning, so depending on your age or your company in the room right now, be warned. It's a bit annoying because my kids love this music and it's just like it's bang right at the beginning, big swear word, and the rest of the song's fine. Like, you know, I'm just warning you in case you don't like swear words. Okay, so I've tried to miss the swear word, so I'm just going to play through this, and I can tell you that this song starts with a fill, so let's check that out first. Okay, I skillfully started it exactly on the swear word, but I might beep that out. So it started with this drum fill. Ba, 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 ba. So all snare drum, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. So the first thing I'm going to do, and by the way, this is in 4/4. I already know that, but that will become apparent in a minute. So let's just write out that fill. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Now the way I'll often write this is it's super sketchy and rough. So I mean, I've kind of loosely written it on the snare there, but I've written these big note heads that aren't too precise, but that's cool. I might even write snare above it if I'm just in a rush and I can't bother to write it out on the exact spaces for the snare. This is just a very loose chart for me. It's not something super precise that I would give to someone else. It's more just like my shorthand notes to help me learn. And if I'm doing sessions in the studio like this, it will be super, super rough because I'll learn it and then I'll play it. So it's still quite fresh in my head. So really the chart is just a bit of a prompt, you know. If I was going to give this to someone else to play, then it's going to be much more precise. All right, so that's there right now. We've got that 1 and 2 and 3, 4. And then we're going to see what the groove is. And I know already this goes straight into a verse. So let's check this out.
Give me your attention, baby. I gotta tell you a little something about yourself. You're wonderful, flawless, ooh, you a sexy lady. But you walk around here like you wanna be someone else.
All right, so far I'm just counting my bars there. I'm also able to get the groove because it's super easy, okay? So I'm gonna write that out. I'm gonna write that groove out, which is basically, it's 2 and 4 on the snare, it's the bass on 1 and 3, it's 8th note hi-hat, so it's like just your most basic beat. I'm not even gonna write out the whole bar. I've written out half the bar, as you can see there, and slash notation. And then I'm gonna write repeats for that bar. I don't wanna have to write that bar out loads. I'm just writing repeats, and then I'm gonna write a time, whatever. So far we've had 8 bars. So let's see from here how many we've got. 9, 10, 11, 13. Alright, so it's changed now. So I've got 14 bars for the verse. 14 bars of that. Now, most music works in multiples of 4, right? So we've got 14 so far. If there's 2 more bars, if this fill happens to last for 2 more bars, that takes us up to 16, which is 4 times 4, right? So that's pretty standard for a verse. It's going to be 8 bars or 16 bars. 9 times out of 10, it is. You can just fill that very easily. It doesn't take too much bother, all right? But now we're going to go into a fill, and I'm just going to listen to that and see if it's specific or not. Here we go. Alright, so quite a simple fill there. So we had 1 bar that was just quarter notes on the snare. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty easy. And then we went da ga 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 shaka boom ba. So we went 8th notes. 1 and 2 and 16ths. 3E and 4. So snare, 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 bass, snare. Right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That was that. Okay, that's cool. So that's our verse. We had the intro fill, ba 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 ba. Then we had 14 bars of a real basic rock beat. Then we had this fill, ba 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 da 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 sugar boom ba. Then we're into our chorus. So let's have a listen to the chorus. Okay, so I counted 10 bars there. I will recheck that because I'm sort of writing as I do it, but I think 10 bars for the chorus, and it's more or less the same groove. So it's the bass on 1 and 3, snare on 2 and 4, but then we had the hi-hats just on the and, or at least accented on the and. And like with a lot of pop stuff, it might not be real drums on the studio version, right? So it might be programmed drums. So another part of the challenge might be, how do I adapt that for drum kit? Okay, so that might be part of it as well. But what I'm hearing here is an emphasised and, so boom, tss, 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 boom, tss, tss, tss. So the groove is shifted slightly just with that hi-hat emphasis. 10 bars of that, and then we're going to come up to the drum fill. Okay, so we talked about fills earlier. Are they specific? Are they not? Well, this one definitely is, because you hear the whole band. Ba-dam, 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 ba. You can't change that. You can't change that. But leading up to that, we had boom, 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 boom. So I think that was 8th note bass drums. So a bar of 8th note bass drums. Ba, 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 ba. And then, da-da, ba-da, 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 ba. 1 E, a 2, da da, ba da, 1 E, a 2, and a. E and, am I going to fit it in? E and 4. So, bum 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 ba 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 ba. Okay, so we've got to get that fill precise, very precise. So we've got so far intro fill, verse 1, the fill at the end of that, chorus 1, putting chorus 2 here, chorus 1, and the fill at the end of that. Now, formulaic pop song. On one hand, that's very boring often. Can be a bit boring, can be a bit dull. On the other hand, it's quite nice when you've got to learn something fast, because 9 times out of 10, they do a lot of repetition. And maybe what they'll do is, you know, verse 2 might be the exact same thing, but they add some stuff in production in the studio. So I don't know, it might be a shaker or some synth or backing vocals or some other stuff is layered on, but they often just copy and paste stuff. So, as I say, can be boring, but can make our job a little bit easier to learn stuff. So let's see. I'm not saying it is the same, so we've still got to pay attention, but there's a good chance it will be. So let's check it out. If it is the same beat, we'll know pretty quickly, and we're going to just count the bars again.
Pretty girl, you should be smiling. A girl like you should never look so blue. You're everything I see in my dreams. I wanna say that to you if it wasn't true. Oh, I know that you don't know it, but you're fine, so fine, fine, so fine. I'm gonna show you where you're mine.
The formulaic pop did not let me down. It's the same. So 14 bars of the same groove and then the same fill. So what I might do on here, again, I'm writing this for me as a kind of shorthand. So what I might just do now is write V2 for verse 2 in, you know, in a circle, whatever artistic choices you make. And then I'm just going to write some rhythm slashes to say, yeah, same groove. We know what the groove is. Times 14, boom. And then I might just write same fill if I'm being lazy, you know, because you're here and I'm going to make an effort. I'm going to write the little fill out again because it was an easy one to write out. Da da boom. But so I've just kind of written it again, very rough, just so I go, oh yeah, it's the same thing. So that's cool. So I've done verse 2. Let's check out chorus 2. Bit of luck, it's the same as chorus 1. Let's count the bars and just make sure the beat is the same. It's the same. Oh yeah, okay, cool. Easy days. So, chorus 2 the same. I'm going to write out my little rhythm slashes again. Going to do a little repeat there and say times 10. Easy peasy. And then again, the fill's pretty easy. I'm not going to write the note heads on it. I don't need that. I'm just going to write da da ba 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 da. Little 16th there is. Da da ba. Da 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 da. Verse 2 sorted. So we've had verse 1, chorus 1, verse 2, chorus 2. So now we know what happens in that kind of formulaic pop structure. The audience is bored. They've had the same 2 things repeated. They need a middle 8. Now in the land of rock, up steps your guitarist to do a face melting guitar solo. That would happen now. In the world of pop, you're going to have like the rap comes in, the rapping dude comes out, does his rap, or you're going to have a breakdown, something like that. That's going to be next. That's your middle 8, right? So let's see what happens here. This has got a middle 8 next. I already know that. So let's see what happens.
You are my treasure. You are my treasure.
So the drums cut out.
You are my treasure. Yeah, you are my treasure. You are my treasure.
Right, so the drums cut out 6 bars. Now, there was a 2 and 4 hand clap type thing. Yeah, 2 and 4 hand claps. So you've got options here. You know, if you've got your sample pad, then you do that. Maybe you'll do a cross stick there. Maybe you'll stand up and clap and be like, yeah, get the crowd going. I don't know. Maybe you'll do nothing. Maybe you'll go and get a beer quickly. You've got 6 bars, quick. A couple of swigs of beer. I don't know what you're going to do. But there's no drum part as such in there. So it's up to you how you want to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write mid 8. And then I'm going to write, how many bars is it? 6, wasn't it? I might write a rest and then do a kind of cross sticky thing on 2 and 4. But then I might write above it hand clap, sort of hand clap sound, wasn't it? 6 bars, and then I'm just going to rewind. I heard something coming in then, so let's check it out. 6. No, that's it. All right, so you know, from the point of view of notation, we are delighted to hear ba 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 ja da 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 da. It's the exact same feel that we had at the end of the verses. So we already know it. We can just copy it from above. We write it out there. Da 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 jaga boom ba. You know, and I had the chord notes first. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and jaga boom ba. Super easy. Yeah, kind of boring, but what you should do is obviously you got to think about the context where you're playing this. So if you go and look at Bruno Mars's band playing this live, they're going to change it up. They're going to make it more interesting. You know, his drummer does some cool stuff in the chorus, goes to the ride. So instead of like boom, tss, 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 boom, tss, he's up on the ride bell on the offbeat. He's chucking in some hi-hats with his left hand. So you can totally bring this to life. What we're doing here is notating as close as possible the studio version. And then you've got that framework, and it's up to you to interpret that. If you want to rock out in a live setting, cool. If it's in the studio and you've got to be a bit more precise, then you've got it. So that's cool as well. So that's up to you. But we're trying to get what we hear on the record down here as quickly as possible. So we've done the middle 8, we've done the fill. What is left for us? Well, we heard it's going to start with a chorus. So providing it's the same groove as the other choruses, we're just counting bars. Okay, so let me just nudge it back a bit. Right, sweet, it is the same. So chorus 3, it's the same groove, we already know. It's 10 bars. Then we're gonna go bum 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 bum. So it's that bass drum thing again. Da 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 da. And then it was that da 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 da. 1 E, a 2 and a E, and just gonna fit it on the page. E and 4. Do a little bar line there. Da 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 ba. So we've got chorus 1. No, sorry, we've got verse 1, chorus 1, verse 2, chorus 2, middle 8, chorus 3, loads of repetition. What the heck's going on at the end? Back to the verse groove. Fade out. All right, of course, cheeky little fade out. Do you know that groove? I'm just going to call it an outro, by the way. That groove, I'm not even sure if I can hear hi-hats there. It might just be bass and snare, but I don't know. If I was playing that live, I'd probably just add the 8th note hi-hats in there, just to keep it ticking along. So I've written it out, and then repeat to fade. All right. Now, obviously, if you're playing that live, you've got to come up with an ending. So you might just end on that da da ga da ga da ba da ba or whatever. If you're playing it in the studio, you just keep grooving, and then they can fade it out in post production or whatever. It's up to you. But that is it. We've learnt a song there in not a lot of time. You know, I've now got the framework and all the information I need to get up and reproduce the drum part on that without any mistakes. If I were going to do this for a gig, the other information I would put up the top, I would use my metronome, I'd tap the tempo of that in, and I'd write my tempo marking up here. So when you get to the gig and the song's gone from your head, because it always disappears from your head right when you need it, you could just get your little metronome out, play it, and then you've got the tempo as well, and you can count it in, and then you've got everything you need to get up and jam that out. And we've learned that in, 10 minutes. There's one I've been talking a lot, obviously, to talk through my method, but really that was one listen. That was an easy song, and to be completely fair, I already did know that song. That's what I chose that, because I know it's an easy one. Some songs are going to be harder, they will take longer, but it's essentially that method you need, right? So we're working out the structure, really, that's a big part of it. We're working out what the content is, so the beats, the fills, trying to figure out what's actually important, get the minimum information down. You don't want more ink than is necessary on here, because it's more to process. You want the bare bones on here, so that it's just enough so you can play, but be free to enjoy it, to get in the groove, to have a nice experience. You don't want to be writing out note for note if you don't have to. So just get what's needed. The more you do this, the quicker the process becomes. It's like, it's just a language really. So it's just, you imagine when you started reading English language, it's pretty slow, right? At the beginning, forming your words, trying to read them, make sense of it all. And then you do it lots and lots and lots, and then before you know it, you don't even have to think about it. Second nature, you can just read really quickly. You can write just as quickly. This is the same. So it's practicing this method, getting good at reading, getting good at writing. Just training your ear to listen out for those parts really quickly. And then, of course, the other big part of this is being able to play. So it's all very well me writing out these beats, but if I don't really know how to play those beats and fills, then it's going to take me a lot longer to learn them. So it's like all your skills come together, all the technique you've got, your timing skills, all the vocabulary you've learned along the way, that enables you to play this stuff. If you've got the reading skills, you can write charts out and learn this much quicker. It all just comes together to make this process quickly, but it doesn't just happen out of nowhere. So you've got to work at this. You've got to practice this skill just like any other skill on the drums, like any other area of the drumming. So if you want to improve your reading, say link below for the sight reading course. If you want this chart, I'm going to put this chart up, this messy old chart. Then click below and you can grab that, totally free. You go and grab it, and you can see. Well, it will help you learn this song if you want to play this song, but it's more. I think it might be useful just to kind of see exactly what I'm writing and that kind of method that you just watched me go through. And also, if you want a nicely computer-generated, accurate chart of this song, there's one. This song's notated on Total Drummer as well, so you can go and check that in the charts page of totaldrummer.com. Anyway, I hope that was sort of valuable. It's just me babbling along, listening to a Bruno Mars tune. If you did like it, hit subscribe. If you didn't like it, well, don't hit subscribe, and I won't see you again. But I hope I will see you again on the next lesson.